This is a good doggo. It will never be bad. What is something you only notice when it's bad? Audio sync to video. Absolutely horrendous when it's off by just a fraction of a second from seeing the mouth move to hearing the sound, or hearing the sound before the mouth moves. Similar to this, when the closed captions are also off by a sentence. I use CC to fill in the gaps of what I didn't hear properly and seeing the mouth move separately from the audio and then trying to read the captions that don't match and keep track of what is going on is headache inducing. Your back. I sometimes catch myself thinking about not feeling any pain in my back and try my hardest to truly appreciate the fact that it doesn't hurt and I can function like a normal human on this day. In November 2017, I was rear-ended by a guy doing 70 while I was stopped. Broke 9 ribs, my shoulder blade, and my sacrum. I have low back pain every damn day. Those days when I get the ice/heat/pain med mix just right and I get a reprieve are magical. Live sound mixing. No one looks at the sound booth guy/gal until there's mic feedback. Heck, it's been a movie cliche for years. The bad or newcomer bands have mixed feedback just to signal the audience how bad they are lol. Or every scene in any show or movie when someone uses mic they test to see if it's working and it feedbacks every time. As a live sound engineer it's huge pet peeve of mine. Septic tank issues. Plumbing in general. Heck, infrastructure in general. Who notices a not potholed road or consistently functioning electrical power? I'll actually notice if a road is extremely smooth because it's a rarity here to not have potholes, but I agree otherwise. Your nose when you're sick and congested. Being able to breathe clearly is great. Or good eyesight. It's a blessing to be able to see without external aids. Have worn glasses and contacts ever since I was a kid and wish I knew what that was like, but too afraid of laser surgery. You don't want laser eyes? Brakes on your car. Nothing like slowly pressing on the brakes as you approach a red light to hear the demons scratching on a chalkboard. One time I was driving my father's car, but when I pressed on the brakes nothing happened and the car crashed. I was driving by myself, so I had no actual proof that the brakes didn't work. Both of my parents insisted that it was my fault and they just wouldn't even consider the possibility that it was the brakes. I should mention that I wasn't injured and I hit a rock which was big enough to stop the car. A lie. Good one. Main reason why it took my some time to notice. Tap water, air quality. Basically infrastructure. We take it for granted, but it takes 24/7 maintenance. Electricity, water, roads, food distribution, internet, etc. You only notice when the roads are bad because they haven't been serviced, when the internet is slow, when the grocery store has few supplies, when the water is funky, when the power goes out. Considering like 3/4 of my city is out of power, heat, and internet right now due to 2 ice storms plus trees plus power lines, this is quite true at the moment. The dust that collects on the floor trim in the house. I know it's bad when I see the huge dust bunnies in the hallways next to the trim. Just live in candlelight. If you can't see it, it doesn't exist. CGI. Bad CGI can completely ruin a scene/movie. Good CGI you'd never even think twice about it. Just wait 10 years and your good CGI may be bad CGI, unless you're talking about the original Jurassic Park. How was it so good? It was assisted greatly by practical effects. Great CGI, 99% of the time, will always age and look worse in 10 years, but great practical effects will always look like great practical effects. I will die on this hill. You only notice plot holes and inconsistencies when a film is bad. A good movie with plot holes can be forgiven as long as it doesn't break your immersion in the story. When a bad movie loses you, you tend to look for other things to focus on besides the story, hence nitpicking. City government. When I finish my wife's sentences, if it's correct, the conversation goes on and we feel closer. If it's incorrect, I get chastised for interrupting her. Sorry, I'm your wife. I'm constantly getting pissy when people finish my sentences wrong. Internet speeds. I hate when it buffers on the dude's Vinegar face. Sports officiating. They make 99.9% correct calls, but that 0.1% is all that gets noticed. The thing is that the 0.1% of bad calls can completely change a game. Try watching English Premier League football, soccer. They introduced a new video assistant referee. Supposedly with video playback it would eradicate mistakes, but it's actually made it worse. Tap water. This is why I'm glad I'm back on well water that's not really hard water. I grew up with well water and the short time I lived in town I couldn't stand having to drink city water. Hell, even the local Chinese restaurant I can't stand their rice because it always tastes like the over-chlorinated city water. Having something wrong with your order at a fast food place. You can go there 100 times and you never notice the 3 times your order was correct. Why would you keep going there if they get it wrong 97% of the time? Fast. Feedback from people. 99 people could compliment you, and 1 person could say something negative, and you'll dwell on the negative comment. Your wisdom teeth. Just got mine out, and lem tell ya those shots ducking sucked when they got bad, but even when they were grown and I didn't notice them until they got bad. Janitorial work. These people on top of keeping workplaces clean also protect us from a lot of biological risks. Unfortunately, it is the standard example of what people tell their children not to be or marry into. We as a society only like to praise people who make tons of money and provide little value. Plastic surgery. Seriously, I always see guys on here going, I hate fake boobs. No, you hate bad fake boobs. Or complaining about botox or fillers. No, you hate overdone botox and fillers. You think the woman with all the above done well is ridiculously hot, naturally. It's kinda funny. Your health. Damn how much I miss being just healthy when I'm sick, and how much I underappreciated being not sick. Body odor. The smell of someone's breath. Abuse. Everyone asks why someone would stay with an abusive partner, but 99% of the time the abuse comes in spurts and the rest of the time is fine. Abusive partners aren't abusive all the time. Trauma bonding. It's a real bitch. The good times are great, but the abuse is temporary. The ebbs and flows with the abuse and love. It's soul breaking too. I think we are conditioned to want it too. A love story doesn't make an interesting movie unless there's drama, death, danger, etc. I find myself thinking a lot, well, maybe someday I'll love someone like that again, but it'll never be as exciting as it was. Some combination of media and our own thrill seeking wants something exciting over something healthy. Once you've had that intense trauma bonding, it's hard to snap out of it. Emotionally abusive parents too. They can paint this picture that everything about your family is great, but at home it's a different story. I think people think you need to be hit to be abused. There's some many subtle things your parents can do to mess you up.